Hey guys, Miss Tate here. So today we are introducing a brand new unit. It's the first day of the 6 weeks, and we are introducing our unit on fractions. So we just finished up decimals, we finished up division, multiplication, adding, subtracting decimals. We're moving on, and we are starting our work on fractions. Or we're going to be working with fractions for the next couple of weeks, all the way until Thanksgiving break and even a little bit after that. So we are gearing up and going to look at fractions. Now, normally we would use like fraction tile pieces like this, but since you guys are, a lot of you are at home, I know some of you are here, but we can't share fraction tiles and things like this anymore because we'd have to sanitize them. And so we're going to be using a lot of different online manipulatives, and one of those things that we're going to be using to help us understand fractions are fraction strips. So I have some fraction strips here on my screen that I'm about to show you that you guys will be using today to help us kind of get our understanding about fractions. So let's take a look at these fraction strips to see what we remember about fractions. So here we have different fraction strips. So at the very top we have one whole. Move me over here. Right underneath we have our halves, then our thirds, right? The pieces are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We have our fourths, then our fifths, our sixths, our eighths, our ninths, our tenths, and our twelfths. So these are different fraction size pieces. Think about for a second, what do you notice about these size pieces? Like one whole is just one, right? One half, it's 1/2. This is one piece out of two pieces. So two pieces make up the whole. Look, 1/3, this is 1/3. So 1 out of 3, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 pieces make up the whole. 1/4, this is one piece out of 4 total. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pieces make up the whole, right? So if you remember from 3rd grade, the top number is called the numerator, and it is representative of how many pieces you're talking about. So just this 1/4 piece I'm talking about right here, that is 1/4. It's just one piece. So the top number is 1. The 4 on the bottom is how many pieces make up the whole. So for this type size piece, it's 4 pieces make up the whole. So 1, 2, 3, 4 make up this whole size piece. So this piece is 1/4. Now, if I have more than that, I'm talking about both of these pieces. Well, this is a 1/4 piece and this is a 1/4 piece. So together, that's 2/4. Right? And then all 3 of these would be 1/4, 2/4. Well, that would be 3/4 if I had 3 of them. And then 4/4 if I had all 4 of them, right? 4/4 is the same as a whole. You should remember this from last year. We're going to be using this fraction strip diagram to help us understand some equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions is what we're going to be looking at today. Equivalent fractions. Does anyone remember what equivalent fractions are from maybe 3rd grade, or what that word equivalent means? Equivalent means that fractions that are going to be the same size, or fractions that are equal. The same size pieces. And we're going to be using these fraction strips to help us do this. And you're going to get a copy of this exact document here when you do your activity. So let's take the fraction 1/2, for example. 1/2. I'm going to draw a picture. So here I have my whole. Right underneath, I'm going to draw a half. So say I'm talking about just a half, just this part right here. I want to know, well, what other size pieces are also equivalent to a half? So what is the equal amount of a half? Look here, I'm going to use this little red line that I've made to help me understand what also would be equivalent to a half. So if I look at my diagram, the 1/2 line marker is right here in the center. I'm going to drag this red line here to the center, and I'm going to drop it and look here. I'm going to see if there are any other fractions that are also equivalent to a half. So I'm just going to kind of look down the line. Let's look at the 1/3. Oh, it's cutting that one directly in half. That doesn't really work. But look here at the 4ths. The 1/2 looks like it's the same size as these 2/4 pieces. Do you guys see that and agree with that? So 1/2, right? Wouldn't it be equal or equivalent to, look, 2 of the 4ths? So 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. Let's keep looking at this fraction strip paper. Look down to the 5ths. Oh, it's cutting that one in half. That doesn't really work. But look at the 6ths. It looks like 3 of these 6 pieces are the exact same size as this 1/2 piece. So 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4, which is also equivalent to 3/6. Let's keep going. What do you notice about the 8ths? How many 8th pieces are the same size as this 1/2 piece? It's lined up exactly on this line right here. That is our clue that lets us know this is equal to half. Look, how many 8ths? 4 8ths. All right, let's keep going. Are there any 9ths that are exactly equivalent to a half? No, look, this one cuts this one in half, so it's not exactly. What about the 10ths though? That one is straight on the line. How many 10ths is exactly half of this whole? Looks like 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. 5/10 are a half. And then what about the 12s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, 6 of them. 6 12s is equal to a half. Look, all of those fractions down here, these are all equivalent. That means they're all the same size. They're all equal to half of a whole. Do you notice any relationship between the numerators and the denominators that might give you a hint about halves? Think about that. Some of you might notice that the numerator is always half of the denominator, or the denominator is always double the numerator. So like 2, what's half of 2? 1. 4, what's half of 4? 2. 6, what's half of 6? 3. 8, what's half of 8? 4. 10, what's half of 10? 5. You see the pattern? What's half of 12? 6. Any fraction like that is always going to equal half. Look, you can use this fraction strips to help us find equivalent fractions for a lot of different kinds. So I'm going to move this fraction strip around. Let's say I'm looking for a fraction that is equivalent to 2/3. So look, I've put the line here at 2/3 because, right, this it would be 1/3, but I'm looking for 2/3, so I'm going to move it over. So now it's in line, 1/3, 2/3. Let's see if it lines up with any fractions on my fraction strips here. All right, let's look down. Well, not the half, okay. Not the 4th, it's cutting that one. Not the 5th, it's cutting that one. Oh, but look at the 6th, it's exactly in line of the 6th. How many 6 is equivalent to 2/3? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2/3 is equivalent to 4/6. They are the same fraction, just with different names. Do you see any other fractions on this fraction strip that are equivalent to 2/3? Take a look. You should see at least 2 more. Okay, one of them is our 9ths. Look here. How many 9ths equals 2/3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 9ths is equal to 2/3. And then how many 12ths? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 12ths. 8 12ths is equivalent to 2/3. Any of these are all the same fraction. They're all the same number, just with different names. They are the same size piece. So what you guys are going to do is just for a quick check on the next slide, is you're going to use these fraction strips and use the little red line to help find some equivalent fractions. I'm going to ask you to find equivalent fraction. You can just choose which one is correct, okay? And then we'll practice some more on an assignment on the next page, all right? Good luck.